Hey guys, how's it going? Ghostly Richard today, and today we're going to be installing a front and rear backup camera. As you can see, this one's made by Viofo or something along those lines. You should have a lot of cabling in here, but if you look, yours might either be wireless to front and back or it'll be wired. If it's wired, you might be getting scared and being like, how am I going to run this? Well, let's show you. So, as you can see, we're going to be tucking it in up and along here. There's already this antenna in here from pre-existing alarm. Then you're going to want to come over here, make sure your hands are clean, but come in here, grab your door seal and pull it back. Pull it all the way to here. See right here? Now we can tuck it up and along there. We're going to go to the next part. We're going to come over here, go to the back door, do the exact same thing. Again, if your hands got dirty, clean them up. And you just have to loosen up that fresh rubber. And then now look, we've got it right to here. We're going to tuck it in up and along through here with a plastic panel popper. I'll show you that in a sec, but now you've got an area to tuck. Once we start tucking it up and around there, we could actually pop this rubber piece here. Now, you have a choice. You can either we're going to pop this down and we can come up through the rubber and we can pull off this one plastic panel here. Again, I can probably just grab the, see, there. See, now we can get up and into here. We pop it up over here. Now we can stick it to the glass. The funnest part is going to be bringing it through here. For something like this, we might need a zap strap from which we can slip right through the grommet. I'll show you when I do it. Or what we can do is and you'll also use a bit of dish soap. But let's get the wire here first. So first off, let's just get the wire started. Let's see how much we need for the front so we leave adequate enough and see if we can make it all the way to the rear. So they actually give you a plastic panel popper with it. And you're wondering, what the heck is that for? That is so you can literally shove the wire in like so as you go. And then you can also, of course, tuck it in here. See that? See how I can take that without even popping the panel off? You can, of course, pop it, but yeah. And since it's plastic, it's as long as you're semi-careful, you're not gonna do anything. And then in here, we're just gonna tuck it in here along where the rubber seal is, just like that. Just make sure you leave adequate amount for the front camera and then tuck in the rest in the back. So like I was showing you, just tuck it in like this. And because it's not metal, you should be able to tuck it pretty easy. You can also use this as a bit of a leverage point and get it underneath and then tuck it that way, just like that. I'm not going to make you watch me do it, but it literally, once you get to here, you tuck it in, and get it around. Now you should have the connection to the front camera, and if you want, you can run the power wire too at the same time. Power wire clicks into the top of it, and this one will click into the side of it like so. Those are just run roughly. I've popped this a little forward, as you can see. It just goes around here, tucks it in. Try and keep it away from the airbag. Again, this is a sheet one, so it'll just drop down here. It's kind of to keep glass out of your face. Anyways, so now that we've gone ahead, we've got this around here. Keep this one tucked in beside the airbag. This is the one for power. It's going to go down to there. This is the one for the rear. So next is to grab the one for the rear and go ahead and grab that. And then now, after you do that, tuck it in. After you've got that going, you can start to plug it up with the rubber. Just make sure it stays in there, just like so. Already tucked it in around here. Again, just use your panel popper. And then when you're running the power end down, you can just tuck it in backwards, meaning put the rubber like this and we'll slowly tuck it into the groove with the rubber. And again, don't forget to resync this in, and it just goes like that. Perfect. Don't worry, that noise was this antenna, and it's glue because it was sitting pretty tight. All right, just so somebody doesn't say, oh, you hear that? He crunched his airbag. No, I did not. I didn't even unclip it. So this will just sink in like so. If it's not sitting flush like this, means wires are right there. Let's go ahead, we'll pull this back. Just make sure they're tucked in proper. Just like that. Come on. And just work it down. Again, you're just tucking along just like this, and it's not that hard. We'll pop that rubber seal again, and as you can see, it'll just tuck in like so, all the way to the edge. And then wrap it around, just like so. And okay, now we're into the rubber area here. Now with this, it's already popped down a little bit. What we're gonna wanna do is go ahead and try and get it through that grommet. So as you can see, we have this piece of rubber here. It's taped up. If you want, take an X-Acto, cut very carefully. You do not wanna cut any wires inside. You don't even have to use the X-Acto. If you can find the edge of the tape, unwrap it. And then you'll have it open like this. So, well, what do you gotta do now? You gotta shove either a zap strap or a piece of hay wire through here. It'll pop out this side, we'll tape it on and we'll pull it through. And then we'll be able to pull it out through here. But you're like, how do I get into the headliner? Well, if this is popped off like so, then you can bend this down and you'll see the opening right there. So we'll be able to pop it out up here. Again, all you're doing is shoving right there. And as you're shoving, the tip of the zap strap should go out the other side. Yes, you'll have to finagle it, but feel it. What it's like is putting the thread through your hoodie after it comes out in the wash. That's the best way I can put it. Or this drawstring in your shorts. But yeah, mess around with it. After you find it, we'll you can either spit on it and pull it through, or you can use a little bit of dish soap. One pulls, the other one kind of tries to push. You try to pull this kind of straight with your hand, and let's see if it'll go through just like that. See how he's pushing it? You can see it kind of coming up the ribs. Now this will be the fun part. Just try to kind of massage it as one pulls. Oh, it's right here though. So now, even if it came off, there we go. Notice how I taped that all up before I put the, we'll say dish soap in this case, or any sort of lubricant. Next thing we're gonna end up doing is we're gonna use some isopropanol alcohol. We're gonna wipe the spot on the window so that way there's no dirt and this will evaporate. You don't wanna use water because it'll leave all sorts of stuff. If you use any other chemical and water won't just, we'll say evaporate, where isopropanol, after you wipe it, within a minute, it just evaporates. So you kind of want to put it down here if you can. What you don't want to do is put it too far up. If you put it too far up, you might get, when you hit your foot on the brake, let's say you were to brake and somebody rear-ended you, the reflection of this brake light might blind your camera. So try and put it like, I don't know, right about here, and then you'll be good. In this camera's case, there is no suction cup, so it actually double-sided sticky tapes to the window. So when you're doing this, since it's a hot day out and the glass is hot, I have no problems. But if you're doing this in the winter or it's really cool out today, heat the glass up a little bit and heat up the double-sided sticky tape with a hair dryer. What this will do is make the adhesive extra sticky and it'll bond better. The biggest thing is that's probably when you're gonna need to switch this actually, is in the winter. When it starts to get cold, it might separate from the glass and then you'll have to use a new double-sided sticky and go from there. But for what we're doing, this is good. Go ahead, zap strap your extra wire and then just clip that piece back in. Just line it up and then you can go ahead and do that. Now, if you're worried about this chafing, there's two things you can do. Nylon, or see where it exactly is. You can pop it back off, throw tape right there, put it on, and then it'll chafe through the tape long before it'll chafe through that wire. But again, it's either that or you can notch it. Most will not notch it. All they'll do is they'll put a little bit of tape there. Or the other thing you could do is if you get some felts, you can space it. See how now this wire isn't being squished? Get some black felt or a piece of foam and just press it in here and it'll put a little bit of back pressure on it so it won't be sinking into the wire. I'll leave it up to you. Go ahead, seal up the back to the front and I'll show you how to do the power end. As you can see, we're right there. We're just a little bit off center, which is perfect from the mirror right here, but that's fine because in the end, you'll be able to see any driver's license plate from this angle anyway. And again, they give you these films. We didn't use them because the film's just going to cause an extra areas to catch dust and everything. I just went straight to the window. You can do what you want. We'll aim the cameras after. But as you can see, we are all tucked in now and we'll be right there. So now I'm going to go into here and see where we can grab power. If you want to, all we'll do is we'll tuck into here. You could go underneath and then plug it into here, or we can find power down here and we can just tap into it and then you can have your you can have it just hidden under the dash so that way there's nothing for you to unplug over here. It just depends if you want to do that or not. Take off some of this plastic. So again, just pop this Phillips right here, pop it right here on the mat, And we'll do that one right there. And then that'll release the cover plate right here. Let's see if it will just release. Oh, there's a tab on it too. You have to squeeze it and pull down. Good luck, Richard, with a camera in your hand. Let's see. Oh, he did it. All right, there's one more right here. Press down. You move that off to the side. I'll get that out of the way. Knob, unscrew it. After you've unscrewed the knob, go ahead, pop this up. This is for the parking brake here. We'll see if it slides off. If not, we'll just leave it right here for a sec. Lift up here, lift up here, lift up here, here, and just over here. That's my neighbor starting up his motorcycle. I've been that guy. And then up like that. Now that you've got this up, you should be able to, we'll see if that's free from this. Oh, what there is there's a light right here. Just put your hand right where mine is, compress the dovetail. Just one sec here. Just got a seat there. It's this little guy right here, see that? So remember, when you put this in, if you do not put that back on, what'll end up happening is it probably won't illuminate, and that's what you want. You want it to illuminate. Now that we've gone ahead and done that, you leave this off to the side, and you can see there's a screw right here to get out the next piece. A screw here and a screw here. See how there's some plastic clips left in here? You might have to take a pair of needle nose, and what you do is you just grab it with your fingers, or needle nose, and just slip them back in the missing areas. They just sandwich back on. And again, you'll see a couple of them. I don't expect them all to come out nicely. So yeah, like I said, don't try anything too crazy, just slip them back on. Like this one, bend it out of the way, and then you have to slowly work this one off just like that. Again, a couple more clips. One will probably get stuck. Put it off to the side. Once you've done that, we'll look for any more screws here. But what you have to do is grab this piece. We'll go right here. And that'll slip forward, that'll slip forward, and now we just have to see. Oh, there it is. Aha. See how it's slipping forward? Now we just want to get that the rest of the way. We might have to sink this part out. I will show you in 1 second. I just need to see if I can get it around this piece, or if I have to pull this piece out of the way to get this piece out. But once we do that, we'll be behind our cigarette lighter. Actually, you know what? I might not even have to go that far. If this isn't easy, I'm going to just disconnect it from here. We're going to measure which one's positive, which one's negative, and then we're just going to tee off of that and put a fuse off of them, or off one of them, off your power. And then what we can do is we'll run 2 leads down here. You do not need to pop this off. I only popped it off really quickly so I could put this needle on the ground there. And then now if I come over here and I touch right there, here, I'm doing a continuity test. So now I know that is our negative. And that on this Toyota is a white with black stripe, and the other one is just white. So now that I know that it is white and black, that is our negative, I can go and put together the contraption we're going to wire to go from right here down to there. By the way, I never ended up pulling it all the way out. I just left it just like that, and it works just fine for popping this out. Now, I needed to show you this. It's just a duct tab. You have to squeeze it. There's not much room, but once you squeeze it, you can slide it out from around the cigarette lighter here. Now let's show you how to put that together, so you could solder that together yourself if you so wish to hide that. Best way to say this is that is going to wire to the power wire of the socket. This blue wire I'm actually going to maybe do to just the ground off to the side, because you don't actually have to go off to the cigarette lighter's ground. You just have to go to a ground, and it'll be way easier to solder that one outside. And then you can do a shorter run than the power, so that way you know that you're getting a good power source, because your ground should always be shorter than your power. Anyways, as you can see, I've got this soldered on the tip. The tip is the power, the side is the negative. Really important to note. Go ahead and tape this up really, really well. Again, this fuse is here, so that way if this does short out, it blows the fuse. your fuse should be about 10 amps. So if you actually look through there, you should be able to see light through there. So just simply take a zap strap or a fish like we did before and just pop it in there. And if you look in the wheel well, it should be sitting right there. All we're gonna do is tape on our wire that we just did, bring it up here, and you can either use a T-tap or solder it like I'm going to. A T-tap is one where you crimp it on the edge of the wire, and then here you just kind of compress it and automatically splices in. I don't like to use them. I usually just go farther down the wire. I'll pull this forward, as you can see, as far as I can, slice this back actually a bit, and then strip it, solder it onto here. As you can see, white, black is going to our negative, and the red goes to just white for the RAV4. And again, if yours has the somewhat same connector, you might be able to do this for if yours isn't a RAV4. But again, I found it to be, if you're looking at the front of the connector, this pin right here is your positive. So now that we've got that, we're going to go ahead and tape this. No heat shrink necessary because we didn't cut the connector off. All we did is we spliced into the jacket and moved it back and soldered on. And then now, like I said, just wrap it really nicely in electrical tape, nice and tight. We'll plug it in. Since the only connector we have taken off is the one on the shifter, which is fine because it's just a light, we can go ahead and we'll just put the car into ACC and make sure we get a glow. Make sure you plug this back in first though. If you don't, you're not going to get anything to glow. There you go. See the green right there? The green tells us that we have power. And then again, if you press power off, or actually I probably put it into the other, there. Now it's turned off. And you can tell because the green has gone off. So we know that it's switched power when the vehicle is off so it doesn't drain your battery. Before you pop this one back underneath here, go ahead, grab your silver piece. Grab it. We're going to sink it back in underneath and squeeze it back on. Just make sure you have all your clips on there. Oh look, we're missing one. Squeeze that back in. Phillips there. We'll put this one in, but don't forget to sink this back underneath so it actually ties down and into it. And then after you've tied that in, we can start to sink this down. Check for any clips that you might need, any of the white ones that might be stuck in here, and then transfer them back over. And then as you're sinking that console down, remember this plugs in like this. So make sure it plugs back in. And then right here, just go ahead, make sure your boot, as you put this down, doesn't get sandwiched on both sides. See how this one would be? You just want to hold it in with your finger so that way the boot sits free and doesn't get pinched. So just like I popped those two out to get that plastic panel out, now I'm going to take this, I'm going to zap strap that up and in there, and look at it, it's all gone. If you're wondering what the red wire is, well, that's for this phone piece. So now they can plug their phone in and have it on here for when they're driving, and again, one less wire. So again, all you got to do from this point, find a spot here to zap strap it, and we'll put in those two. We'll put in that plastic panel again, and that should be it. We'll take a look at this dash cam and start it up for the first time. All right, I've strapped everything underneath there. Again, you can find your own points after you've gone ahead. Again, I've just zap strapped there and zap strapped there. I'm gonna take this plastic piece, flip this back around, and just sink it into the two hook points. As you can see, they have foam in there so it doesn't rattle, and then clip, and then put in the two security screws back in there. After that, we'll go ahead and start up our camera. All right, now that we've gone ahead and we've got those two screws in, everything's buttoned up, we've put an SD card in here. The micro SD just slides into the side. Make sure you put one there. Start. Aim up. It's booting up the camera. Make sure you say yes to formatting all data the first time you use it. It'll do that, and then we'll see if it just starts recording. I won't make you listen to this. Actually, let's see. Close the door. There. It is a pretty big memory card, so it will take a second to format. After it does, it's letting us know. It's showing us our speed. It's telling us a date. No idea if it's going to be able to focus on that. Probably not. Let's see. Yeah, it's definitely not going to focus on it. All right, anyways, if you hit the three little lines right here, it'll come up with bit rate, resolution, and stuff like that. What we're going to do is hit resolution for a sec, or whoops. Let's go here. So now we can hit resolution. When you're in here, this is your okay, this is your down, this is your up, and this is how many menu screens you have. So let's go ahead and go down. It's got loop recording. Let's make sure that's on. It's got loop recording every, let's put this to its maximum length, which is 10 minutes. I would highly suggest that you do that, because that way if you get in an accident and you're in a freak out mode and you don't turn your car off completely, it'll record for the next 10 minutes. Otherwise, it'll only record for like 2, which isn't good. Oh, there is a parking mode on here. We're not going to do any parking mode stuff because this will not have power during parking. We are not a Tesla. That will drain your battery. Anyways, GPS is on. Speed unit, you can do that. Wi-Fi, there it is. Date and time setup on. Oh, it's for the stamp, sorry. I was trying to see. There it is. Date and time is lower. All right. So the date, I believe, is the 8th. What time is it? It is 4:13. Oh, I forgot this is 24-hour clock. So 4:13 is 16:13. Okay, now that we've done that, let's go back. And let's go to resolution, because that's the biggest. If you go on resolution, you'll notice it's 1440p from factory. You can go ahead and crank that up if you wanted to 20p or 16p 30 if you wanted. Let's go up and see what we've got. 720, so 1600p is the best that you can do on this, and it'll still do 1080 plus 1080p 30 for while you're driving around. So you can either have 1440p 60, which is a faster frame rate, or you can have 1600p, which is a slower frame rate, but it's 30 frames per second. Just so you could imagine, this video you're watching right now is filmed in 30 frames per second. I personally think 30 frames per second is more than enough. 60 frames though is very, very smooth. You might pick up more detail. I'll leave that up to you though. That is completely up to you. I'm going to put it at 1600 so we have the best resolution. Other than that, I can see that the red REC light is going and the mic is going, so I know the mic is working and I know that it is recording, and that is all you need. So now that we've gone ahead and done that, go ahead, drive around and know that you're now officially being recorded front and back.